Okay, finishing up the Beatitudes in Matthew 5, verse 12, Jesus says, "Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." I think sometimes that's where we get confusion, is our home isn't here on earth. It is in heaven with our Creator. And that's the thing is we don't die. We just move on, transition to a different life. And so as we look at all these blessings that Jesus said, you're more blessed to do this, we've talked about how when you do those, you're more blessed to be righteous. You're more blessed to be a peacemaker. That causes some persecution. That causes some struggle. And Jesus says, but this isn't your home, right? If you have ever been returning from vacation or returning from a long trip, you go through any amount of difficulty to get back home, especially if there's a crisis, if there's something that you need to be there for. And we go through all the hoops, we go through all the work to get back home. And that's really what we're doing through here on earth, right? Is we're getting home, we're on the journey home. And so when he says rejoice, and that's the thing, our focus really isn't here on earth, it's at home with heaven, in heaven. And we've shared the illustration before in sermons and different things about how you take just a long rope, and on one end you just wrap a little bit of electrical tape around it, maybe an inch. That's really life on earth, that inch. And then you look at the rest of the rope, that's eternity. That's really how we live as Christ followers. That's what we look forward to. And so there's some more rejoicing that we get to do. As you know, 4 Mile Run, we haven't gathered on campus for a while. So this Sunday, in 2 days, we get to rejoice and regather again with those people who show up, but also with those people who continue to stay online and watch us through there. But we get to rejoice in that way. It's a reminder of heaven, what heaven is going to be like. So we end the Beatitudes with that. So as we pray rejoicing into people's lives, there's so many things we tend to look over when we rejoice. We always want the big and great things, but a lot of times it's the small things that we get to rejoice for, right? You come home to work, there's your family. You come home to work, you've been productive. There's little things sometimes that happen every day. We forget that we get to rejoice in those. So pray rejoicing into people's lives.